Tomas, thank you very much for joining us. You are my paisano from Colombia, and you guys are based out of Florida, Miami specifically. You are the founder and president of SP Development, the co-founder, right, with Daniel. And you guys have built a pretty interesting company that is growing, and you have a very interesting background. So we definitely want to hear more about your real estate journey and like learn about what you guys are doing. So why don't we start you introducing yourself, paisano mío?
Thank you, my fellow Colombian. Daniel and I, although we met here in Miami, we moved to Florida in 2000. And while we joined forces in 2005, we were working in the same industry. I was studying in development, and he was embarked in a multifamily acquisition journey with his family. So in 2005, we decided to create a new company, actually a property management company that is still in operation. With that, we started managing our own multifamily properties. In 2006, we made our first significant acquisition in Atlanta of 200 unit multifamily complex. And then we started acquiring other properties. And finally, we decided to go third party management to solidify our property management operation. And we actually set up a central support team operation in Colombia that we still keep. And so everything that could be done remotely, we will ship it to Colombia and we would do it from there. That's how we set up our business model in the property management industry, and that allowed us to streamline the operation, to get a more wraparound arms on the operation, because we were operating everything in real time, which is a challenge to say that in property management, but we were able to figure it out and again run our properties in real time so everybody could do and see the same information as it was produced, including our clients. So we developed by doing that, and I'm mentioning this because this is kind of the foundation of our companies. We wanted to make sure that we had a very disciplined and meticulous operation to make sure that we could answer to our clients in real time, or they could even see it sometimes. What was happening? Where is the money?
Mm-hmm.
How is the occupancy? Everything, because it was not just the information that was kept by the on-site manager as it was traditionally done in the industry. And I have to say that still today, even with the many important developments in property management software, there are some companies that still rely heavily on the layers of managers, regionals, and not all the information is run in real time. So that was a very interesting business model, and we started growing our property management operation, and we had at some point we were running 6,000 doors in 5 states, in Florida, Georgia, Missouri. We had an operation in even in Detroit and Texas. In 2019, after seeing the trend in the multifamily industry, we decided that it was time to pivot to development. I also have to mention that I'm a civil engineer by trade, and and I've been always been involved in development projects, even parallel to our property management operation. I was always running development projects in Miami, especially, but also in Atlanta, where I lived actually for 16 years. So in 2019, we saw the opportunity to pivot to new development and decided to divest. And so we sold our assets in the multifamily space, the ones that we owned. We kept the operation of our clients' properties through our property management company, and we founded SP Developments, which is a spin-off of Strategic Properties, our property management company. So what we decided was then to focus in on multifamily buildings. Multifamily, it's in our DNA. We've been involved in now for 20 years in multifamily, so we know the nuts and bolts of all the multifamily operations. We know the challenges of different markets. We've been through ups and downs. We were able to survive the 2008 crash, and it was a wealth of knowledge that we wanted to apply in our new venture. So Daniel and I got out of the daily operations at Strategic Properties and embarked in this new venture that has been a very interesting and productive ride with new projects. So that's how I can maybe introduce ourselves and our companies.
Very interesting. Yeah. Huge trajectory and it's so much experience that you bring to the table. That's very interesting. And I see here that you've jointly delivered 950 plus multifamily units through like a strategic JV brand like Urbania, right?
Yeah.
Is that so? Currently in your operations, are you trying to grow the company further? You're trying to expand to other markets, and what are the challenges that you are facing? Is it like more finding deals or finding investors?
Yes. All of the above. Our current pipeline or is comprised of 6, 7 projects, of which 2 are already under construction. One is breaking ground in a couple of months, and those total 1,000 units, multifamily units in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. So one building in Fort Lauderdale, which is the one that will be completed in Q1 next year, is 110 units. We have 240 unit multifamily project in the North Miami area and a 640 unit multifamily property to start construction in Hialeah, which is a very strategic and interesting multifamily market in the Miami area.
Hmm.
That's what we have today. And I have to say that since the beginning, we started looking for strategic partners as co-GPs, and that's been our route. In these 3 projects that I just mentioned, we're partnering with the second or maybe first now largest development group from Colombia. They're delivering somewhere in the 6 to 7,000 units a year, and so they bring a lot of wealth of knowledge in construction. Because me also being a developer in Colombia in my past life, we have lower margins than what we're accustomed in the United States. So there's a very well developed discipline of design efficiency, cost control. So again, that has been a very important and interesting partnership to apply what we all bring to the table to these projects. These projects are moving forward actually with little or no hiccups and will be delivered on time. So those are our first batch of projects, these 1,000 units. We have also two more projects, 450 units each, again in the Miami area, for which we are in conversations to bring other co-GPs in the same fashion that we did for the first three projects that I just mentioned. So those two new projects will require a significant equity effort. So we're again joining forces with co-GPs that are interested in participating in our projects. Besides those two, we even have another two or three projects that we are analyzing and underwriting. And also, I think it's important to mention here that we all of our deals come from off market offers. We've been privileged to get these opportunities even through our clients in the property management company who have brought those deals to us, those land deals to develop the multifamily projects. So that's been a very important leverage for our operation and has given us an important competitive advantage in the Miami market. So we're at, that's the broad scope of our current pipeline and the ones that we're analyzing and plan to move forward with.
Very interesting projects. I think you guys are in the right market and like anything, you're multifamily, right? Like so, like in every area right now, there's a shortage of housing. So you are in a s- in a place where everybody wants to move to, and that you have a large pool of clients interested. So very interesting model, and I think you can be very successful. Now, how are you guys doing to find those deals and to find investors? Like, what is your strategy and what like operationally, how are you going about it?
Like I said, when in 2019, when we decided to start this operation, we started just communicating to our clients
Hmm.
and in our multifamily space. So they started bringing up opportunities, and that's how we found them. We've been very lucky to have those opportunities being brought up to us. That's how we found the deals, and even as we speak today, there are two new projects that we're analyzing that belong to current clients of our property management company
Hmm.
in Miami, and that's how we found them. And now talking about the capital stock, we've been also very active in reaching out to our contacts in Colombia,
Hmm.
and thanks to that, we did the same. We started spreading the word because we had even in our property management company, we had clients that had invested, Colombian clients that had invested in multifamily properties here. So again, we started our efforts by contacting Colombian companies through friends, and we've been actually very lucky because this has coincided with the high interest of a lot of important Colombian developers in participating in setting up an operation in the Miami market, which is of course the most familiar ground for Colombians to invest. That's how we've done it so far. At this point, we've also been lucky to engage in conversations with other international investors. Right now, we're analyzing a deal with a group from South Africa and other even American companies and investors are part of our current conversations to move forward with our projects.
Interesting. That's cool. And what, so as you know, like AI is transforming the industry. How are you guys using AI and how do you see yourself using it in the future?
Well, we've been early adopters in all kinds of technology that we see fit to our business. Even early on during our beginnings in the multifamily operation, we were one of the first company to adopt online payments. This is kind of stupid to say today, but 15 years ago, nobody had it. And we set up what was called then a payment gateway, which is a technical name for just an online payment. And we had it like 5 or 6 years before anybody else adopted the online payment. So today I can say that we're using AI heavily during our day-to-day operations and all kinds of applications from analyzing and creating Excel reports that will take a couple of days. Now it will take seconds. We're also combining financial statements from different companies that we have under each project, or when we want to see a side to side comparison of how our developments are doing. Again, heavy use of artificial intelligence. We are also interested in applying artificial intelligence to run our construction operations tied to the accounting system. It's known that the challenge for a developer is how to tie the operation side, the construction budget and execution to the accounting system. Today there are good solutions, but we're working on improving that, and there are opportunities to improve that we don't see in current products. So we're interested in doing that. Also, I think there's a big opportunity in reaching out to investors through AI processes, and that we're also very interested in. And again, just like many of us, we're learning as we go, more learning than anything else. But again, our day-to-day operations now is relies heavily on AI tools.
Yeah, it's impossible to keep up, right? Like it's advancing so quickly, but there is so many tasks that you can actually enhance now or eliminate, like automate. There is very that is good that you guys are like early adopters and you're always constantly learning and figuring out how to adopt it. I think those are the businesses that are going to keep up and survive in this age. So that's great. Now, I know in previous discussions, we talked about raising money, like what are the different strategies, and now that's also changing. And tokenization was something that we talked about. Have you guys given it some thought, and how are you guys thinking about it?
We even we've had 2 or 3 meetings with companies that are doing exactly that already in Europe. In
You need to put me in contact.
Yeah, and there's a German company that contacted us, and they are running, I think, ahead of our market, but still, you know, the challenges are more regulatory because you need to be able to create a secondary market for for these investments.
Hmm.
So it's not only selling the investment to an investor, a small investor or a big investor. That's not the main point. It's how can they in turn go and resell those assets as they wanna just cash in on their investment. So that's the main challenge is regulatory, but also when we're talking about tokenization, one thing is to set up the vehicle, which we already know and have at least, yes, these 2 companies we've been having conversations with. But once you have the vehicle, how do you reach out and what is it that you need to do differently to actually target the investors that are willing to invest in and adopt the tokenization as their way to invest in a real estate project. That's that's there are some intents, and we know a particular developer that is doing that in Miami, trying to create that through attracting investors to invest not only in the real estate asset but also in crypto as part of the whole package.
Hmm.
That may be interesting, but again, the main challenge or the main 2 challenges is are one, the regulatory, and the second is give me the platform, but then how do I create a strategy and deploy an effective strategy to reach out to my potential
Yes.
investors because we're talking about the lower the amounts, the bigger the numbers of number of investors that I need to reach out to. So that to us is something that we've been investigating for over a year. We don't have a solution yet. That's why we're not jumping right now into it.
Right.
But we know for sure that this is coming. Like if you could see in 5, 6, 7 years,
I think before,
that
but
will
yeah.
be it will be commonplace. Right now, it is not. So you have to be very careful, very smart, and very precise on how do you deploy that strategy. And until we put our pieces together, we're holding our horses because we don't want to do and embark in something that is not going to be successful.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I mean, you will be an early adopter, right? However, it's already been done. And like they're even thinking about tokenization, even stocks, right? Like companies are thinking about like instead of like having people go and buy stocks, you have access to all these other platforms like Coinbase, Gemini, Binance, right? And you tokenize those stocks. And so you have the reach of the whole globe that can now access the cryptocurrency market. And you can buy tokens for any amount. It can be like 50 cents, like $1. And so you have like access to like a huge pool of money now. And you're right. The part is like the regulation, right? The US, the Clarity Act, I think that's going to help a lot in terms of clearing up the regulation aspects. However, there are already examples. So, for example, I don't know if you've heard of Figure. And Figure, that's what they do. They actually have a cryptocurrency. And me as an investor, for example, I go to Figure and I have a home or I have an investment property and I want money. I want a HELOC from my equity. So I go to Figure and Figure like processes the application in 5 days, and gives me the money that I need depending on how much equity I have. And that Figure, it's also a cryptocurrency that the market has access to. So you can actually buy Figure, right? And the more
Okay.
money, the more people that buy Figure, the more money they have to go and give these HELOCs, and they are generating a yield to the investors. So it's already being applied. It's just figuring out how you can use that use case to either use something that's already working or create something in parallel that is similar.
No, no, and you're absolutely right. This is not only interesting. I'm sure this is gonna be the way to go. It's not just fancy. It's it's
Yes.
it's gonna be the way to go if you want to have a platform like ours that we intend to grow organically. But the more we grow, it makes sense to have a wider reach because at some point there's so much money, there's so much money out there that you just need the right funnel, the right vehicle to attract the money to your projects. So I know, and anything that we can learn and understand, of course, is it's very valuable. So I know. Thank you for that info, and
Yeah.
we'll be more than interested in exploring any option that we see that has already a path
Hmm.
that that is taking or that is proven somehow. Then
Yeah. Yeah. And this is why I love this, right? Like I right now I'm combining my three passions outside of my personal life, obviously, more like career wise. My passions are real estate, love real estate. The industry is just great. AI is transforming everything and like it has changed my life completely and everything I do. And cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin, really, but like the cryptocurrency market and how you can utilize it in terms of financial strategies. Those are like my three passions. And so, absolutely, would love to continue the conversation with you and figuring out how we can make that work. And then, like, I'm gonna continue doing the research on and connecting with people. So, if anybody in the audience knows how to do it, please reach out. Would love to learn on how you guys are doing it.
of course, yes, we're on the same boat.
Amazing. Well, Thomas, thank you so much for your time. This has been so insightful and very interesting. One last question. If you were to think about a theme song for yourself or your business, and I'm sorry, I'm putting you in the spot, what song comes to mind?
We are the champions
We Are the Champions. Oh, I love that song. Why? Why did you pick that?
because we have a winner mentality and a no barrier mentality. I don't have to tell you this, but when you come here to this great country as an immigrant with your own dreams, if you decide and apply yourself to do that, you're gonna succeed. But there's gonna be many challenges, and if you have the mentality that we luckily developed, there's no small challenge, there's no impossible thing to achieve in this country, as long as you do the right things and apply yourself to that. So that's why.
Agree. Thank you so much, Thomas. This has been amazing.
More than welcome. David. It's been a great opportunity to share with you and your audience.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.